welcome back to our San Francisco Giants franchise mode. We are heading into our second offseason as general manager of the Giants. And we just came off a very upsetting loss against the Philadelphia Phillies in the wild card round. We went up 1-0 in the series. Thought we were playing pretty good. We were doing very well all series, limiting Bryce Harper to really any contact or doing anything out on that field. However, we were not focusing on Trey Turner, who turned out to be a motherfucking superhero for the Philadelphia Phillies and led them to back-to-back wins to beat us 2-1. These Congratulations to the Minnesota Twins as well for finally winning a World Series. I don't remember the last time Minnesota won a World Series. I just know it's been a fat minute or a hot minute since they have done that. Now, heading on into the offseason, very first things that always happen are retirements, and these are the players that are retiring this upcoming retiring heading into this season. Baltimore, Kevin Pillar has retired. Toronto, Chris Bassett retires with Toronto. Robbie Grossman retires with the Chicago White Sox. Jason Hayward retires with the Kansas City Royals. Justin Verlander finally retires, old man Verlander, with the Houston Astros. Steven Strasburg finally retires with the Washington Nationals. Milwaukee has 3 players retiring: Anthony DeSclafani, a former Giant, Martin Perez, and Colin Ray. Arizona has a retirement as well with Tucker Barnhart. And the remainder of the retirements were all free agents that didn't get to play this year. So they're all kind of like, you know what, I kind of like spending time with my family. I think I made enough money. And these are the players: Elvis Honduras, Daniel Bard, Anthony Bass, Charlie Blackmon, Matt Carpenter, Carlos Carrasco, Patrick Corbin, Brandon Crawford, Johnny Cueto, Charlie Culberson, Jake Dykman, Matt Duffy, Eduardo Escobar, Luis Garcia, Shane Green, Yuli Gurriel, Jake Lamb, Sandy Leon, Jordan Lyles, Andrew McCutchen, Wade Miley, Will Myers, David Peralta, Tommy Pham, Manny Pina, Erasmo Ramirez, David Robertson, Max Scherzer, also retiring, Jonathan Schoop, Donovan Solano, Noah Syndergaard, Jesse Winker, Colton Wong, and Kirby Yates. Now, of those players that retired, only one of them, only one, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. You heard me that correctly. Out of all those names, Andrew McCutchen, Charlie Blackmon, Strasburg, Verlander, Scherzer, all of them, only one made it to become a Hall of Famer. And that man is Max motherfucking Scherzer. The two different-eyed man. He's a fucking force to be reckoned with. I was actually considering signing him for depth, for a depth starting pitcher. We just didn't need it, however. And he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame. He deserves to. If I could go in and put some more players into the Hall of Fame, I would. Andrew McCutchen would be one of them. Charlie Blackmon's an honorable mention, but he might just get his number retired with Colorado. Justin Verlander deserves to be in that Hall of Fame. And then Steven Strasburg, you can make an argument for it. You really, really can. But I don't see him even in real life becoming a Hall of Fame pitcher. Now, heading into the fun part of free agency, where moves start happening, deals start getting made, people start re-signing. And this is what happened for us. All right, so right away, our first base coach retired from us. So Dan Falk said, "Fuck you, I am out of here." So we went out and signed ourselves Carlos Feebles to a 4-year, $4.7 million deal. So he's now going to be the coach that's going to be staying with us so long as he doesn't retire the longest. One day, man, something I completely forgot to do. Was, before we went into the signings, talk about who are this year's top free agents, okay? So these are this year's top free agents, all right? Defending AL MVP, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has hit free agency. He signed a one-year deal last season with the Toronto Blue Jays, where he played DH all year. Won his second Silver Slugger back-to-back years, 2 years ago as a first baseman, this year as a designated hitter, and decided, you know what, Toronto's just not it for me. I think coming off an MVP season, I'm going to be getting paid in free agency. Toronto also will be losing their star shortstop in Bo Bichette as he decided, hey, I'm going to hit free agency as well. Kyle Tucker, outfielder Kyle Tucker, is also available. He decided to tell Houston to fuck off, as well as starting pitcher Zach Gallen leaving Arizona finally to go see what he can find on a different team that might actually win him a championship. Chris Paddock is also available. Josh Naylor, Dylan Cease, Lane Thomas, and then the top relief pitching player or top relief pitcher available is Ryan Helsley. Now, I am most interested, honestly, in Vladimir Guerrero and Dylan Cease. I really like Dylan Cease. If we could add him to our rotation, that would be great because he's a well above a strikeout and inning guy. I'm a huge Dylan Cease fan. I think that adding him to our team would be phenomenal to happen. Now, heading on into the moves around what happened in about the first month of the off season. Right away, Arizona traded away outfielder James McCarthy, as well as closing pitcher prospect DeMarcus Price to the Baltimore Orioles for closing pitcher Felix Bautista. I think Baltimore wound up winning that one as they got a speedy outfielder in McCarthy who could bat leadoff for them, as well as a closing pitching prospect, and all they did was get rid of a aging Felix Bautista. Yes, he is a good closing pitcher, but I wouldn't mark him as an elite closing pitcher. So bringing in that outfielder as well as a closing pitching prospect, good win for the Baltimore Orioles. I think Arizona's just trying to free up some cap space to try to re-sign Zach Gallen, but it's all for naught. As on November 6th, the LA Dodgers signed Zach Gallen to a 6-year, $117.6 million deal. All right, so that's the very first signing of this offseason. Two more players got signed on this day. The Los Angeles Angels signed relief pitcher Tajay Antone to a 1-year, $4.4 million deal. And we, the San Francisco Giants, have made the biggest splash back-to-back years. Honestly, I would say that we might have won the last 3 off seasons just because of this move alone. We signed first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You heard that right. The defending AL MVP is now coming to San Francisco. So we have the defending AL MVP, the runner-up NL MVP in Juan Soto as well. That's mayhem. We're going to fucking win the ship this year. We're going to fucking win it. Now, the only catch that I have with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is I am swapping him over to third base. He is not going to be playing first base here in San Francisco. Not going to happen. We're keeping Wilmer Flores here in San Fran. Vladimir Guerrero is getting moved over to third base. I swapped his primary positions. All right, his primary and secondary position. So his new primary position is third base, while his secondary position is first base. And he might be one of the first players to win a Silver Slugger at three different positions in 3 consecutive years. As I said earlier, 2024 he won the Silver Slugger for first baseman. Last year, after signing a 1-year deal with Toronto, he won the Silver Slugger as a DH. Now he's coming in as a third baseman in the NL. Not the AL, the NL. All right, and we're going to be hoping that he can win it here as well. Now, what we did with him is we offered him or gave him a 13-year, $235 million contract and front-loaded that bitch as well. So both him and Soto signed on front-loaded deals. So as years go on and they get older, we're going to have that money available to build the team around them, sign the young guns to good contracts. It's phenomenal what we are doing here in San Francisco. And following that signing, the LA Dodgers get a little scared. They get a little scared, all right? So they trade away starting pitcher Jackson Ferris to the Milwaukee Brewers to get some infielding depth. They acquired second baseman Russell McKay. Now, the very next day, the Washington Nationals signed away Dylan Cease to a 5-year, $85.5 million deal, which very upsetting with me. I wanted that dude so bad. I was offering the contract. We were the number one interest on his board. And literally, I simulated one day he signs with Washington. I guess he just didn't like San Francisco. I'm not sure if it was the coaching staff, if he didn't like a player here, if he thought we were just too guaranteed to win it all. But he decided, fuck it. The New York Mets signed relief pitcher Hunter Harvey to a 2-year, $11 million deal. And then on November 8th, the LA Dodgers make their third move this offseason, signing relief pitcher Gregory Soto to a 1-year, $3.7 million deal. On November 9th, Toronto finally makes a move following losing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. They wound up signing starting pitcher Jack Flaherty to a 1-year, $5.9 million deal. On the November 10th, Cleveland signs relief pitcher Caleb Ferguson to a 1-year, $2.8 million contract. On November 13th, the New York Mets sign outfielder Kyle Tucker to a 7-year, $197.4 million contract. So the past couple seasons, we've been making moves with the New York Mets. New York Mets have been bolstering up. They do still have Giancarlo Stanton on their books. I think they have him as a DH specifically, and they now have that star outfielder in Kyle Tucker. So I think the New York Mets are trying to make a push here for as far as they can, as they did lose Pete Alonso last year. San Diego Padres signed a pair of relief pitchers in Josh Stoutman and Jonathan Loaizaga. Stoutman got a 1-year, $2.6 million contract, while Loaizaga got a 2-year, $4.8 million contract. On November 15th, Milwaukee signs relief pitcher Jorge Lopez to a 1-year, $2.3 million deal. And then the Texas Rangers decide that they're going to get involved this offseason. They trade away starting pitcher Cody Bradford as well as catcher Sam Huff to the Cincinnati Reds for first baseman Doug Stoddart. And if that name sounds familiar to you, that is because he won Rookie of the Month, NL Rookie of the Month in, what was the months again? In April as well as in August. He was the runner-up behind Rich Moore. My bad. He was her runner-up behind, who was it? Oh, no, he wasn't the runner-up. Doug Stoddart is Rookie of the Year for the NL. He won NL Rookie of the Year. So NL Rookie of the Year gets traded away from the Cincinnati Reds to the Texas Rangers. That is crazy. Now, he wasn't the best rookie this past season. He was Rookie of the Year and the best prospect in the NL, or Rookie in the NL, but the best rookie overall this season has to go to Minnesota Twins, Rich Moore. He batted .327, 33 home runs with 100 RBIs in his rookie season. For comparison, Doug Stoddart, who won NL Rookie of the Year, batted .290, 22 home runs with 74 RBIs. Rich Moore is an absolute monster, and the weirdest thing about that dude, thing about Rich Moore, C potential 77 overall. C potential 77 overall. How that dude didn't get a boost to his potential, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not going to question him. Maybe he's a one-year fucking wonder. But congratulations to the Texas Rangers on getting themselves the NL Rookie of the Year. On November 18th, St. Louis Cardinals trade away starting pitcher Michael McGreevy, as well as second baseman Thomas Sagise to the Houston Astros in exchange for relief pitcher Brian Abreu. Then the Toronto Blue Jays trade away relief pitcher Hayden. Man, I can't read my own handwriting. I'm not sure if it's a D or a J. Doinger, I think, to the Colorado Rockies in exchange for outfield prospect Nathan Lukes. The Kansas City Royals signed relief pitcher Dylan Tate to a 2-year, $8 million contract as well. So Dylan Tate leaving Baltimore. At least I believe it was the Baltimore Orioles that Dylan Tate was on. So that is going to be it for the first little bit, or the first 2 weeks pretty much of the offseason, heading on into period number 2, as I like to call it, or really the kind of the middle part of the offseason, where things start to slow down a little bit. There's still some big names that get signed, but things start to slow down a little bit here. On November 27th, San Diego signs relief pitcher Giovanni Gallegos to a 1-year, $3 million deal. Arizona signs starting pitcher Framber Valdez to a 2-year, $29.6 million contract. And then the Houston Astros sign relief pitcher Tyler Matzik to a 1-year, $2.9 million contract. That's right, we did let Matzik hit free agency because I thought we could find someone better to kind of replace him. And I think there's still a few players here that I rather like in free agency. And you're about to hear one of our signings actually right here on November 24th, 3 days following us losing left-hander Tyler Matzik. The San Francisco Giants sign closing pitcher Ryan Helsley to a 4-year, $31 million contract. Now, some of you probably are like, what the fuck? Why are you going after Ryan Helsley? You have Camilo Duvall. Well, injuries fucking happen, first off, all right? Injuries happen. Duvall could be hurt very first game of the season, very first appearance for all I know. And this is what I want happening, all right? We lost Tyler Matzik. I'm not going to have a full bullpen like I'm due. Thanks to this signing with Ryan Helsley, I'm going to have one setup guy. So basically, 8th inning, Ryan Helsley, 9th inning, Camilo Duvall. 1-2 punch. I shouldn't have to worry about that. So all that leaves is the 6th and 7th inning for my middle relievers, and that's fine. Really, middle relievers with the starting pitching core that we have, really, we only need a middle reliever for that 7th inning. So 1, 2, 3, we should be good all around with Ryan Helsley there. So we're going to have 4 middle relievers for that 7th inning, Ryan Helsley for the 8th, and then Camilo Duvall closing it out in the 9th. That is a recipe for success. Now, the only thing that hurts is we only have Genesis Cabrera as a left-handed pitcher in our bullpen now. So all of our left-handed pitchers are starting pitchers. Bullpen is pretty much full of righties. So that is the one downside to this deal that we just made. Now, the Cincinnati Reds on that same day signed first baseman Josh Naylor to a 6-year, $90 million contract. Congratulations to Josh Naylor. I would have stayed in Cleveland, buddy, but go get paid in Cincinnati. And you know what? I guess that's why Cincinnati traded away Rookie of the Year Doug Stoddard, is they liked Josh Naylor better. So they are betting that Josh Naylor is going to help them win right now, while Doug Stoddard is just not the guy. He might have just had a year is what they're thinking. The Los Angeles Angels signed veteran catcher JT Realmuto to a 1-year, $7.3 million deal. He was a pain in our side in the playoff run as well with the Philadelphia Phillies. He was batting 9th in their lineup, and we just couldn't get that motherfucker out. He just was very good at what he did. The Philadelphia Phillies, following the signing of JT Realmuto, get starting pitcher Zach Eflin away from the Tampa Bay Rays, signing him to a 2-year, $43.6 million deal. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks signed catcher Gary Sanchez to a 1-year, $5.8 million contract. On November 25th, the Minnesota Twins, actually back-to-back days, Minnesota Twins signing a pair of players. Very first deal, the defending champions make, it will be to sign catcher Francisco Medea to a 2-year, $7.6 million contract, and then they'll also sign starting pitcher Cal Quantrill to a 1-year, $5.2 million deal. So the Minnesota Twins trying to win themselves back-to-back championships after making back-to-back playoff runs. They lost the LA Dodgers year number 1 in 6. And then they wound up beating the Atlanta Braves this past season in 6 to win it. So they have made it to the World Series back-to-back years. They're looking for a three-peat as well as that back-to-back World Series champions is what they're going for. And the very first day of December, the New York Yankees signed outfielder Lane Thomas to a 4-year, $38.4 million deal. Excuse me. Seattle Mariners signed second baseman Willie Castro. The Atlanta Braves signed closing pitcher Jordan Romano. The Atlanta get closing pitcher Jordan Romano. I guess they're losing faith in Iglesias. Or did Iglesias retire last year? I don't think he retired, but Iglesias no longer going to be that closer in Atlanta, or at least not the lone closer. Might be a committee now with Iglesias and Romano. The Miami Marlins trade away starting pitcher Thomas White to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for catcher Kyle Teal. And then the Kansas City Royals signed starting pitcher Jakob Younis to a 1-year, $5.6 million contract. Period 3 of 4. All right, so we're almost there. Period 3 of 4. Basically, this one is going. Oh damn! There's a few more signings actually for November, real quick. So my bad. Back on November 15th, Toronto signed outfielder Tommy Edman to a 4-year, $44.4 million contract. Atlanta signed catcher Mitch Garver to a 1-year, $7.8 million contract. Arizona Diamondbacks signed starting pitcher Aaron Savali to a 3-year, $24.3 million deal. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates signed outfielder Alex Verdugo to a 4-year, $36.4 million deal as well. So following that, that's completely my bad, we are now going into period number 3. What is period number 3? We're basically taking it from December 4th, or the beginning of December, all the way until the draft lottery. And then the final period will be what happens between the draft lottery and the end of the offseason. Now, starting us off with period number 3, the Cincinnati Reds signed starting pitcher Lucas Giolito to a 1-year, $5.5 million contract. The Chicago White Sox signed starting pitcher Paul Blackburn. Oh, no, not Chicago White Sox. Chicago Cubs signed starting pitcher Paul Blackburn to a 1-year, $7.5 million contract. On December 5th, the Astros signed catcher Jose Trevino to a 1-year, $3.7 million deal. And on December 6th, 3 signings are made. Arizona Diamondbacks signed starting pitcher Brad Keller to a 1-year, $4.3 million contract. St. Louis Cardinals signed first baseman Josh Bell to a 1-year, $3.4 million deal. And then the Atlanta Braves signed outfielder Jock Pederson to a 1-year, $4.1 million deal. I think Jock Pederson was on Atlanta before. After he left San Francisco, I think he was in Atlanta, wasn't he? Or was he on a different team? I can't remember. But anyways, Jock Pederson, now an Atlanta Brave. On December 7th, the Milwaukee Brewers signed starting pitcher Luis Severino to a 1-year, $5.9 million deal. December 8th, the Los Angeles Angels signed outfielder Trent Grisham to a 2-year, $14 million contract. The Chicago Cubs also get outfielder Raymond Loreno to a 1-year, $3.2 million deal. And then the San Francisco Giants, us. Yes, that's right. We get a steal, an absolute steal. We sign 81 overall second baseman, utilities. Really, you should put a fucking utility as his position. Luis Arraez to a 7-year, $73.5 million contract. You heard that right. We now have our guaranteed, buddy, guaranteed leadoff man for the remainder of our franchise, the next 7 years. This dude won the batting title for the NL back in 2024. He's going to be our leadoff man. He's actually improving in the home run category as well, going from 11 to 14. Now, last season, he hit 18 home runs. We're going to continue to try to develop his power as he's only 28 years of age, so we might be able to make him above 300 hitter, a 320 batting average with 20 plus home run every single season. That's what we might be able to develop out of Luis Arraez, and I think we could do it. I think the team is so stacked here. We don't need him to hit the home runs because we already have all that power. Jorge Soler, Vladimir Guerrero, and Juan Soto, as well as Wilmer Flores. We already got the power. It's just Luis Arraez needs to be that man. Right off the gate, get a base hit, base knock, a little gapper, maybe a little blooper between the second and right fielder or the shortstop and left fielder right over, just perfectly out of reach. Luis Arraez is now the man here in San Francisco and going to be our everyday lead-off batter, pushing out Jung-Ho Lee outside now the top 4 spots on this team. So Jung-Ho Lee gonna kind of have to earn himself. He was seen as a man who could be a leadoff dude for us every single day. Hasn't really been it. 2 years ago, we gave it to him. He wasn't doing good. Moved him out. Put him back in. Really, it's been Thairo Estrada and Jung-Ho Lee kind of juggling back and forth between them. But really, Thairo Estrada has been our leadoff man over Lee. Lee's just won his first Gold Glove of his career. Congratulations to him. But he's going to be getting pushed down the lineup. He's still going to be playing every day, just getting pushed down that lineup. On December 9th, the New York Yankees signed second baseman Brandon Rogers to a one-year, $3.3 million deal. Tampa Bay Rays trade away 3 players, shortstop Aslevis Basabi, outfielder Brock Jones, and starting pitcher David Calero to the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for catcher Henry Davis, a big-name catching prospect in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. I guess they're going with Joey Bart over there in Pittsburgh over Henry Davis. Interesting move. I mean, I like that Pittsburgh's getting some prospects, but I don't really know how Henry Davis is developing, but I wouldn't have traded away Henry Davis if I was Pittsburgh. On December 11th, the Toronto Blue Jays signed third baseman Yoan Moncada to a one-year, $4.3 million deal, and that moves us on to the draft motherfucking lottery. Now, real quick, let me pull up the draft lottery odds. Uno momento, por favor. Oh, I just passed them. So the draft lottery odds. All right. Heading on into this, the New York Mets, who lost Pete Alonso last season, have the best odds at 16.5%. Kind of tied with the Colorado Rockies at number 2, who also have 16.5%. Oh, and number 3, the Washington Nationals. All 3 of the top teams, 16.5%. All right, so Mets, Rockies, National, all 16.5. Miami Marlins, the 4th best odds at 13.2. And then the 5th best odds with the Detroit Tigers at 10%. The rest are all 7.5 and below. All right, we have no odds for this draft lottery. We finished 19th. Because we made the playoffs. So we are not involved in this draft lottery motherfucking ever. But going through the draft lottery, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox, jumping up from 8-1. They hit it on a 3.9% chance. And congratulations to the Pittsburgh Pirates, moving up from 11-4. So these are the biggest jumps we have seen in the draft lottery. All franchise. Nobody has made these jumps like this team, like these two teams, from the 8th spot and 11th spot. Basically a 4% chance and a 1.5% chance of doing it, and they did it. They fucking did it. Congratulations to them. I already know that at least the Boston Red Sox organization is flipping the fuck out. Pittsburgh Pirates pretty happy that they moved up to 4, from 11 to 4. But the Boston Red Sox, man, they are partying right now thanks to that. Now we're heading into the stretch, the final stretch, boys. This is where things get really hectic. There are a lot of trades that happened here. A lot of trades, I'm telling you. We are only involved in one of them, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 trades that happened between December 20th and February 17th. All right, 12 trades. Now, let's get things started. Following the Boston Red Sox winning the draft lottery, they acquire starting pitcher Jordan Montgomery on a 2-year, $41 million contract on December 20th. The Houston Astros get veteran first baseman Rhys Hoskins on a 1-year, $6 million deal. Kansas City Royals signed starting pitcher Ranger Suarez on a 3-year, $24.6 million contract. And then the Chicago Cubs get starting pitcher Nestor Cortez Jr. on a 3-year, $30.3 million contract as well. The first trade of this period, the Tampa Bay Rays trade away starting pitcher prospect Juan Ortiz, I believe it's starting pitching prospect Juan Ortiz, to the Milwaukee Brewers for outfielder Willis Jean. And then the Minnesota Twins trade away starting pitcher Marco Rea to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for shortstop Daryl Doherty. Now, following the Minnesota Twins trading away a starting pitcher, they actually acquire a starting pitcher. On December 24th, the Minnesota Twins acquired starting pitcher Michael King, who signed with their team this offseason on a 4-year, $48.4 million deal. And the Atlanta Braves will get speedy outfielder Cedric Mullins on a 3-year, $19.5 million contract as well. On December 26th, the Baltimore Orioles trade away starting pitcher Cade Povich to the Houston Astros in exchange for outfielder Pedro Leon. The Cincinnati Reds trade away third baseman Jamir Candelario. Man, I feel like I fucked up his first name, but I know it's Candelario, to the New York Yankees in exchange for shortstop George Lombard Jr. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates trade away relief pitcher Dauri Moreta to the Chicago Cubs for starting pitcher Kurt Boom. Now heading on into pretty much the new year on December 30th, the Atlanta Braves trade away relief pitcher AJ Minter, second baseman Vidal Brudar, and outfielder Luis Guanipa to the Houston Astros to get stud closing pitcher Josh Hader. All right, so the Atlanta Braves, didn't they get another stud reliever? Was it Romano? Atlanta. Come on, who is it? Where are you? Or am I just making this shit up? I was positive. I thought Atlanta signed. They did. Atlanta signed Jordan Romano. And then they decided that's not good enough. We want Iglesias. We want Romano. And you know what? Give us fucking Hader too from the Houston Astros. So the Atlanta bullpen is fucking stacked, dude. Stacked. That is a nasty bullpen over there. And then the San Diego Padres sign outfielder Max Kepler. I didn't write down what the deal was, but they signed Max Kepler to their team. Now on New Year's Eve, Arizona trades away starting pitcher Steve Montano as well as closing pitcher Jackson Corson to the Minnesota Twins for starting pitcher Bailey Ober. So Twins getting rid of what pretty much is their ace. Isn't Ober their ace over there in Minnesota? Or their second best pitcher? So that's a very interesting move on their part. And the Atlanta Braves not quite done bolstering their bullpen. They trade away relief pitcher Robbie Mueller, shortstop Daniel Casto, and outfielder Blake Dunn to the Cincinnati Reds for relief pitcher Joe Jimenez. So Atlanta really bolstering their bullpen right now. And then the Los Angeles Angels trade away outfielder Deshaun Knowles to the Seattle Mariners for second baseman Lou Cortez. Now, heading on into this new year, I decided to take a step back. Boys. Heading on into the new year, I'm a little hungover. I'm laying in bed. And I'm looking at the available free agents. And I'm like, this is interesting. How is this man still available? And I don't know if you all have been paying attention, but there is one stud, and I mean stud, player that teams are offering on, but are heavily, heavily trying to underpay this man. And that dude is shortstop Bo Bichette. And I have decided that we're going to get involved in this game. We, the San Francisco Giants, are going to try our damnedest to try to bring in Bo Bichette alongside Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So we're going to reunite those two teammates. We've already reunited David Schneider with Vladdy. Why not bring in Bo Bichette? Everyday shortstop for our team who can fucking hit and can field. It would work. It would fucking work. And to make that happen on January 25th, all right, I did wait. Like I said, I was pretty hungover. All right, I was pretty hungover. Our team, we didn't think we had the money. We didn't think we had the cap space. On December 25th, we trade away third baseman Matt Chapman to the New York Mets in exchange for two top 100 prospects. We acquired, what rank were they? We acquired the 37th best prospect as well as the 85th best prospect in all of baseball, according to the top 100, or top prospects list. All right. We acquired outfielder Tyrone Sutton, who appears to be a pretty good speedster, as well as third baseman Chauncey Hayes, who is literally a DH. This dude can hit the shit out of balls, all right? This dude can hit left and right. He can swing for the fences. He can't field. Dude can't field. But what are you going to do? We acquired two prospects for Matt Chapman. These prospects are going to take a couple years, so I'm not too worried about them, impeding anybody or fighting for anybody's role or having to trade them away next season. It's going to take probably 2-3 years before these guys are really MLB ready. And 2 weeks later from that trade, boys, 2 weeks later on February 12th, the Philadelphia Phillies trade away relief pitcher Andrew Belatti to the Baltimore Orioles for catcher Rodolfo Overon. And San Francisco Giants, boys, calm it. We sign third baseman Patrick Wisdom to a 1-year, $2 million deal. You heard that right. We now have a veteran on our team who's got power. He can field. He's going to be coming in left and motherfucking right for players who are a little bit fatigued, a little bit tired on this team. All right. So congratulations, Patrick Wisdom. Welcome to San Francisco. And on that exact same day, Bo Bichette makes his decision live in front of probably tens of thousands of people. YouTubers coming on in, media members coming to the press conference, asking questions, asking who are you going to side with? Where are you going? Where are you going, Bichette? The season is less than a month away. Spring training, Bichette. What are you going to do? Are you not going to sign with anybody? And Bo Bichette says, I am signing. I'm signing a 7-year, $114.5 million contract. $114.5 million contract, boys. And I'm signing that contract with the San Francisco Giants. Yep, you could have probably already told before I even went on that long spiel, but Bo Bichette is now a Giant, boys. We have acquired Bo Bichette, Ryan Helsley, Luis Arias, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Patrick Wisdom, and we still have one more guy that's left that I'm shopping for right now. He hasn't agreed to my contract yet, but there's one more guy. This will be our 6th signing this offseason. Oh, that's right. And we acquired 2 top 100 prospects this offseason too. This is a dub. Big fucking dub. We signed an MVP. We signed a phenomenal leadoff hitter. We got an everyday goddamn shortstop in Bo Bichette. Utility veteran leadership in Patrick Wisdom. We got our set-up man and potentially, depending on injuries, closing pitcher in Ryan Helsley. Now heading on into the final days of offseason, February 17th, the Chicago Cubs trade away starting pitcher Richard Gallardo and outfielder Christian Franklin to the Cincinnati Reds for starting pitcher Xavier Curry. It's just a prospect for them. They just make a quick little swap, and we finally get our last signing. And some of you guys might be like, oh, who's it going to be this time? Who the fuck is it going to be this time? Well, I'll tell you who it's going to be. It's going to be a powerhouse of a man. Somebody who just hit 45 fucking home runs this past season with the Atlanta Braves. This dude's got power. He can't field worth shit. He can't run worth shit. But my God, when he makes contact, and I do mean when this dude makes contact with the ball, it flies. If you guessed Matt Olson, you'd be 100% wrong. We signed outfielder Marcell Ozuna to a 1-year, $3.3 million contract. And for those of you who aren't paying attention to this Giants squad, that is 3 players in our rotation now, or in our lineup. Sorry. Yes, 3 players in our lineup who are 40-plus home run getters this past year. Ozuna hit 45. Vladimir Guerrero hit 45. And Jorge Soler hit 40. And my bad. It's actually 4, not 3. There's 4. Because I completely forgot about the stud, the one, the only, the best fucking player in all of baseball, Juan Soto, who fucking hit 44, 43 home runs this past season as well. So the Giants, looking for the fences. They don't have any speed. They got a little bit of defense, but they got all the pitching, and they got all the hitting. Best of luck. Defense doesn't win championships. Home runs fucking win championships. And with that, boys, I will see you in the next one, where we will be taking on the San Diego Padres in our season opener. Starting the season off with a 7-game road stretch this upcoming season. 4 games against San Diego, 3 games against Pittsburgh, and then we'll finally get our home opener on Friday, April 3rd, against the Boston Red Sox. But anyways, boys, that's all in the next one. I'll have to wait till then. Till then, bye-bye.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar.